is this. Don't miss the news at 11 next Monday morning. I say that because I know there are big things in store for many of you listeners. The Lipton Tea folks will bring you this news beginning next Monday. They have a very special method of introducing their product to you. I've been to meetings with these folks and have gone over every aspect of their new campaign. It's a beauty, really, because they're giving away some wonderful kitchen gifts, and I mean giving away. They even, well, I'd like to tell you all about it right now because we're mighty enthusiastic here at WCAU about this new method of advertising. I can't tell you all about it now, but I can tell you this much. Many of you will be surprised with this approach because it doesn't require a lot of your time, a lot of head-scratching and guesswork, or ripping off box tops, or send you scurrying to a dictionary for answers. So you be sure to listen for the details Monday morning at 11 when we bring you the news. And today the news at 11 is this: the dreadful details of an accident at Blairsville, which is in the southwestern part of Pennsylvania, where a young couple and their 2 children suffocated in a fire. The blaze occurred in a 2-story motel just 2 miles east of Blairsville. And the story is told by a relative of those who died in the fire. Mrs. Wolford is the relative. She's a sister of Glenn F. Strayer, who died with his wife, Janet, 19, and their children, 2-year-old Sherry Ann, and a 4-month-old son, John. Mrs. Wolford says this: "We live across the road from the motel. About 5 o'clock this morning, we were awakened by the shouting of the men in the motel. There were 8 units on the first floor, along with a little kitchen. My brother and his family lived upstairs in an apartment. Some pipeline construction workers were in the motel units. My husband rushed over to the motel when he saw it blazing. Some of the pipeline workers boosted him on top of the roof, and he smashed a window trying to get in. A lot of smoke rolled out, and poor Claire fell off the roof backwards. My goodness, it was terrible. My poor brother," this woman says, "his wife and kids were found in the bathroom. They must have been trying to get out a window onto the roof." Well, that's the story from Blairsville. It's really a tragic story. 4 wiped out. They suffocated. Somehow or other, they just couldn't get out of that building. The name Donora rings a warning bell in the division of the State Health Department in Pennsylvania, the division of the health department that is devoted to air pollution. In southwestern Pennsylvania mining town of Donora, a caprice of the weather trapped contaminated smoke for several days 9 years ago next month. You probably remember it. About half of the population, 7,000 persons, were made seriously ill, and 20 of them died. Could it happen again? Both Health Secretary Charles Wilbar and the chief of the Air Pollution Section, Victor Sussman, agree that it could happen again. But the 2 officials also agree that chance occurrences such as happened at Donora are not their chief worry. They are more concerned with the long-range cumulative effects of polluted air on the health of individuals. The state officials claim there is a need for legislation to permit an attack on air pollution at the statewide level, and I'm sure that many of you will agree there's too much smoke, haze, chemical dust in the air. The Bristol, Pennsylvania School Board was condemned yesterday by the American Legion Convention out there at Chicago, condemned for giving the name of atom scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer to its proposed new high school. The condemnation resolution was sponsored by the Pennsylvania Legion Department. It was adopted at the convention out in Chicago by a voice vote. Now here's something new, girls. A drive-in supermarket opens today in Linden, New Jersey. It's open now. Customers can phone their orders, then pick them up at a window. Small orders will be filled while you wait. The operators of the store, Larry and Joseph DeLeo, say they got the idea from drive-in banks. If the idea catches on, the brothers plan to operate their parking lot like a drive-in restaurant, with grocery girls waiting on customers. The DeLeos see their store as a great boon for mothers with young children, housewives who don't want to dress up to go shopping, and for husbands who can leave the grocery list on their way to work and pick it up going home. How does that sound to you? Now let's take up the stormy news. Severe thunderstorms caused havoc in the little town of Clyde, Kansas today. Some 1,000 residents fled from their homes, and parts of the town are under 2 and 3 feet of water. A number of small buildings have been swept away, and state highway police say that a number of roads in the area are closed. North central Kansas got between 7 and 10 inches of rain during the night and early this morning. Severe thunderstorms. A Clyde newsman, John Hale, said the community was isolated and that most power and communications facilities had been knocked out. So far, no deaths or injuries have been reported. The flooding in Clyde was largely caused by overflowing of Little Elk Creek. Weather officials out in that section of the country say that the Republican River is rising rapidly. The Republican winds down into north-central Kansas from Nebraska. The disturbances in Kansas appeared to be part of a narrow belt of storms extending from Kansas and Nebraska eastward across southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and the central part of Illinois. The thunderstorms erupted along a front separating warm and humid air to the south of the belt from the cooler air on the north. And residents along a wide stretch of the Louisiana and Texas coastlines are warily watching the progress of Tropical Storm Ella. Ella is now located a little less than 400 miles east-southeast of Corpus Christi, Texas. It's moving generally in the direction of the middle Texas coast at about 12 to 14 miles an hour forward speed. The latest advisory says Ella is still below hurricane intensity, but it's believed to be increasing in strength. A hurricane watch has been ordered from south of Corpus Christi to Galveston. Then the storm strikes fear into the hearts of the people in Cameron, Louisiana, where they remember all too vividly 500 people dying last year as a result of Hurricane Audrey. About 1,500 residents of the Cameron area have left their homes for higher ground.